and I was just, I don't know, balls deep to the wall,
Yeah.
just running. And I'm like, if I die, I die.
Jamming, yeah, jamming. I hope you like a jamming too. Hello, everybody, and welcome back. It's Jammincast. It's me, Jammin. Did you expect anyone else? That's right. It's my podcast. It's my voice. I'm here for you. How you doing? What's going on? How's life? Too many questions. You can't respond. That's okay. We got a lot to talk about. What's Jammin's going on this week? What's news is going on this week? And then I got an interview with Karina. You might know her as MissUnicornFarts of Twitch. So this is going to be a fantastic episode. I'm really happy you're here. Let's get right into it. What's news, everyone? It's Jamin. I'm here. I'm talking. I'm giving you the news. I'm ready to talk about some great things this week. I really am excited about some of the news segments, so I want you guys to know what's going on, keep you up to date, keep you up to what's happening in the world of video gaming. All right? So the first thing I want to talk about is Broadband Genie is a site. They release surveys. They do surveys on people, and they release some interesting survey results around Google Stadia, which is, for anyone who doesn't know, it's a service that's Google's launching. It comes out November 2019, and it's going to be a cloud-based streaming video game service. I don't know if it's going to be very popular. The way they're setting it up right now, I don't think I will buy it, but we'll see. Maybe there's people out there that appreciate this model. But broadbandgenie.co.uk, their blog, posted their survey results from their Google Stadia and mostly about cloud-based gaming survey. So on the 11th of July, they released a survey results, the second half of it. And their first question that they highlighted was that, what type of pricing plan would you be most interested in for a cloud gaming service? And 74% of people responded paying a subscription fee for unlimited access to the entire library. And that's totally understandable. That's what we have come to understand a subscription service does. If you're paying for Netflix, you don't also pay for the movies. If you're paying for whatever service, you usually don't have to pay for more stuff within that service. Google Stadia is attempting something by saying, we'll get rid of your need to purchase a console. You'll be able to play your Xbox games, your PlayStation games, all in one thing. But they kind of ignore the fact that consoles are usually sold at a discount. Consoles are usually sold at a very, very small markup. Companies barely make any profit on a console, if any profit at all. I know at one point, consoles were being sold at cost, or nearly at cost, so that they could get more people playing their console, and then they would make their money on their game sales. That was the price model for video games for a long time. Console gaming, you would sell the console as cheap as you possibly could so that more people would buy it, because then you would make it up when people bought your games. And if you had the most popular console, then you could charge game developers to make their games on your system, and you could then make money off your system. So you weren't putting the burden of the price completely on the customer, right? You were able to create a bigger market share because you sold your console at a very low cost. So Google Stadia is saying, you don't need to buy any consoles. You just buy you have Google Stadia, and then you can, get whatever game you want. But you have to pay for the games still. You pay for a subscription, but you also pay for the games. And the games are cloud-based, so they're going to have a little bit of lag and latency. So I think those are the big problems with Google Stadia. But this survey from Broadband Genie went into a little more detail. And then they were asking, what would you expect to pay per month for unlimited access to the Stadia gaming platform? £10 is what they were saying. This is a UK article. £10 was what people would say per month. And then when asked Would you be willing to purchase games on a cloud service if they cost the same as a regular digital download or physical copy? 86% of people said no. I would expect cloud purchases to be cheaper than a physical copy. But Google is saying that they're going to charge people the same for their games on their service as you would pay for a physical copy or a digital copy that you got to keep, that you got the data for, that you didn't have to worry about latency, that you installed on your thing. If Google Stadia is cloud-based entirely, right, because you don't have a console, you have to have something else doing the processing power, so you send out the input, then there's an input delay depending on your internet connection. These people must all have Google Fiber that are developing this, because this is going to be a nightmare for people with, bad internet. You can't play the games that you want. You're paying a subscription. You're paying for the full price of games. It just doesn't sound good. It doesn't sound like a smart move. And then 73% of people were concerned because there was a question, do you have any concerns or feel there are any drawbacks to a gaming streaming service such as Google Stadia? And people responded, 73% responded, I think the performance or visual quality will be compromised. And I 100% believe, as I squeak my chair, that the performance will be compromised. You try to play a game like Call of Duty, which is a Twitch-based shooter, and attempt to shoot somebody, when you're on a 3-second delay to just yourself, when your controller is 3 seconds delayed, and then to whatever you're processing from is now also delayed to the servers for the game itself, and then that all has to you're adding another step. You're adding a second person to relay all your inputs and all your stuff. So if there's any small connection on your end, if there's any small connection interference on their end, wherever happens, you're going to have even more of those milliseconds of delay, which on a lot of games, that's a big problem. So that's what happened with that. That was an interesting article. I thought you guys would like that. I thought it was an interesting thing to talk about in this whole streaming cloud-based gaming. And the problem with cloud-based gaming is really the latency, and the price model is going to be really weird. To say that, like, oh, you'll pay a subscription, but then you'll also pay full price for the games, that's really awkward. It's really an awkward thing to say. The next thing I want to talk about is Steam. So Steam is using machine learning, and I'm a big machine learning, not aficionado, but it excites me. Anytime someone says the words machine learning, I kind of perk up. I'm like, oh, what? What's happening? What's there? What's that? Who's that? Huh? Machine learning is being used now, and an AI, which is what machine learning is, to recommend games to you to generate content. So it's the new Steam store-powered labs. Is this what it's called? Hold on, make sure we got this right. Latest experiment. Every game in Steam will now have a 6-second trailer looping to quickly inform viewers about titles on Steam with a presentation that's easy to skim. The experiment is a fancier version of the Twitter bot of the same name. They have a machine learning curator. The experiment now, they want to make sure to see that how much you've played each game in your Steam library, and then the machine learning is going to recommend games based on what you like and based on what you've played, how much you've played it. And so the machine learning is going to try to pick games that you like. You like playing this game? Well, why don't you check out this game? A lot of people like this game, and the machine's going to learn and figure out how your patterns to tell you, hey, this is a similar game that you might like. And then there's an automatic show now. There's every day, Steam generates an automatic show trying to tell you about the new and popular thing. It's kind of like one of those Facebook videos that kind of just pops up on your feed. If you've seen these, if you have Facebook, it just says, hey, remember when this happened? Remember all your friends? Friendship Day. Here's a friendship video. And it's just like random pictures that you're like, oh, yeah, I posted that picture. Okay. Oh, yeah, those are friends. I see those. Yeah, thanks, Facebook, I guess. And it's like an automatic content generation. There's no person that sat back and said, let me go through Jamin's Facebook feed and find all his pictures with his friends and then send him a nice video. No, it's a computer making it. So Steam's doing that as well. And I think it's a little bit better in Steam's function because it's not a personal thing. It's not like a kind of like there's no emotion involved in like social media is very emotionally involved. So having those videos and things like that, it's questionable. It's like, oh, okay, great, okay. Maybe it's good for someone who uses it a ton, but for me, I'm just like, I don't care. Why is this on my feed? But an automatic show, whether or not I'll actually ever watch this, I don't think I'll ever actually be like, let's go see what the automatic show has to say about what I should play today. But an interactive recommender, someone recommending something to me, and I have to sign in apparently. I'll do that later. I haven't tried it. I haven't tried the interactive recommender, but it'd be cool. It'd be an interesting thing. I love machine learning. I think it's a huge thing that we should talk about, and that's going to take over a lot of industries that it already has. I mean, it's huge. It's a big deal. All right, time me. What was that? Was that 10 minutes? Did we talk 10 minutes? Perfect. World of Warcraft. Oh, I got it out. I got it. It was in me. It was sitting in me. All right. Red Bulls and Method are doing world first runs right now. At the time of this recording, it's the 18th of July. There is nobody who has downed Ajara. And I don't know if anyone will down Ajara this week. I hope they do. That'd be exciting. About 50,000 people were watching Method after they downed Lady Ashvane. They were stuck on Lady Ashvane for quite a while. But now it looks like Lady Ashvane's dead. It looks like Olgamoth, is that his name? I think is Gorgonzola. Gorgonzola? I think it's Gorgonzola. I think that's his name, Gorgonzola. He's and I'm joking, guys. It's not Gorgonzola. It's Gorgonzola. He is the squid, Cthulhu squid with mind control powers, all that stuff. He's down now, and now that at the time of this recording, they're working on the what do you call them? The consorts? That's not consorts. The Queen's Court. That's what it is. A lot of teams are working on that. So we're getting close. World first. I don't know if it'll be this week, if it'll be next week, but it looks good. It's exciting to watch. And, I'm watching both. I think Method, personally, I think Method has the better production value. They have the more people that I know. Red Bull's production value is a little bit lower, but it doesn't matter to me. They're both interesting and awesome. But the thing is, you're always going to watch whoever's in first. You're always going to skip to the person who's in first. So as soon as Method down Lady Ashvane, boop, 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 their viewer count skyrocketed. So it's really awesome to watch these guys just throwing themselves at a wall and just getting slowly better, trying different comps. And then as soon as someone downs it, everybody can watch their VOD, and they're boop, boop, every other team is back. Somehow they figured out how to get onto the next boss. It's interesting. It's interesting to watch because you know who's the first to down each boss, and then you realize, what composition did they use? There was let's bring a bunch of elemental shamans in because we need a lot of instant burst cleave. So it was interesting watching some of these people bringing, certain classes in to do these things. It's been a really awesome ride watching this, and it's really been great to have something to watch when Classic WoW is not yet out. So, World of Warcraft is back, man. It's a great game. It's still a great game. I gave it. I kind of lost my flavor for it, but once you dive back in, they do a really, really good job of keeping you in there. And then the other thing about World of Warcraft I want to mention, and we'll move on to other things for news again, is WoW Classic stress test has been postponed. So in a blue post we had on the EU forums, Tapesilum, community manager, he said, "Hello, we're hard at work preparing for the launch of WoW Classic, and they've reached the conclusion that they're not quite ready to do their global stress test, which was previously scheduled for next week. They're still on track to launch Classic WoW on August 27th, but they need a bit more time before the final pre-launch worldwide test. So they'll have a more definite date soon, TM, and they'll post it on the forums when they do." So Blizzard had to postpone the stress test. That's all right. That's fine. Everything's going to be good. Right, guys? Right? Everyone? Everyone's okay? Oh, okay. Everyone's still here? Good. Anyone got any water on them? Anyone? Anyone wet? Anyone's good? Everyone's dry? Everyone's clean? Everyone's happy? Good. All right. Not a big deal, but it is something that happened, so I wanted to mention it. I'm glad to have you here. So, next thing to talk about, and we'll move off of World of Warcraft. That was the quickest I've ever talked about the longest I've ever gone without talking about it, and the quickest I ever dropped it. Sea of Thieves had a new update come out this week, the Black Powder Stashes. And more importantly, they mentioned that this is going to be their new monthly game updates. So Sea of Thieves is one of these games that thrives on updates, very similar to World of Warcraft. It's fun to play. It's got a great systems in place, but once you do all the things, it starts losing its flavor. It starts losing its wonder, its value. You doing the same thing again. You're like, oh, this puzzle that I already solved, I have to do that again? Okay. And there's no way to do it better. You can only do the puzzle as good as you did it before. I mean, you could maybe do it faster because you now know where all the things are. Maybe you could time yourself. Maybe that's a way to increase the longevity of the game. See how fast. Maybe there's a world first puzzle mode. That could be a good. Here you go, Sea of Thieves update. Hold on. Give me directly patched in to Rare. Can someone patch me in? Bill, my producer. Can you patch me into Rare, please? Thank you, Bill. Hold on, guys. We're patching into Rare. Okay, Rare. Listen here. Add speedrunning into your game. Okay? I know I turned off your microphone so you can't respond, but add speedrunning into your game, okay? Time me. Give me the Tall Tale quest and time me on it. Add a little timer. Tell me how fast I'm doing it. Oh, you completed this. You completed this section this fast. Last time you did it this fast. The world leader did it this fast. Oh, I get a little competition. I get a little PvP action in my game that also has PvP in it. You get a little bit of that, I'm not competing with someone and killing them, but I'm going to compete with them. Okay, this is the What's News, and we're going into general game design elements. All right, Bill, hang up on Rare. Don't want to talk to them anyway. Bill, hang up. Thank you, Bill. Okay. Bill likes to talk back sometimes. Anyway, that's what's going on. The black powder kegs are able to be turned into any trading company, and including Athena's. So all these new gunpowder kegs, these new gunpowder kegs, all these missions, you're going to be able to turn them in anywhere. I'm hoping I can turn them into Hunter's Call. They didn't mention that. I think maybe they won't be able to. They mentioned the three main ones. They mentioned Gold Hoarders. They mentioned Order of Souls. And they mentioned Merchant Alliance. They didn't mention Hunter's Call, but they did mention the saying that they come into Athena. So I'm assuming that you would also be able to turn them into Hunter's Call, because I want that big boat. I want that big, beautiful boat from the Hunter's Call. I want to fish. I just want to turn my kegs in and blow up some fish. So that's also, hey, Bill, get Rare back. No, never mind, Bill. Just don't even do that. The next thing I want to talk about, and this is my final news, what's news for this week, is that Detective Pikachu has become the highest grossing video game movie of all time. So there was a couple theaters still worldwide still playing Detective Pikachu, and it's now made past $436 million worldwide. And it's a new record for films based on video games. It pushed out World of Warcraft. Not Warcraft the movie. Pokemon Detective Pikachu pushed Warcraft the movie out of the top spot for highest grossing video game movie of all time. So yeah, I have not seen this movie actually. I've heard really great things. I just haven't had time to actually go watch it. So now that it's not in theaters, hopefully it'll be on Netflix soon, or I'll just buy the DVD or buy it on whatever. But I want to watch this movie. I do. It is. I've heard good things about it, so I want to watch it. And that's it, guys. That's the news for this week. I'm so happy you're here. Let's move on. We're going to go to What's Jammin'. We're going to find out what's going on in my life. So let's hit it. What's Jammin', friends? Welcome. Welcome. A lot of things happening this week. A lot of stuff going on. A lot of fun things. I was excited to tell you guys about this. First thing I want to talk about is the Arena World Championship in World of Warcraft. So, watching Arena, and I was never a big PvPer, but I did with Thunderer and Marco, my old co-hosts back from Cataclysm, back 10 years ago. Wow. There's this thing they added in WoW Arena that I don't know how long it's been in, because this is my first time watching a WoW Arena in a long time, is dampening. And so, as the fights go on, the longer the fights go, for anyone who doesn't know, dampening becomes more and more rampant. And what dampening is a mortal strike. It reduces the healing received by everybody. So, slowly, the game starts ticking up this dampening mechanic, more and more percentage, 1%, 2%, 3%, healing reduction flat across the board as the game gets longer. So if someone's not dying, obviously healing is too high. You're able to keep everyone alive, no problem. So let's make you either force you to heal more, which makes you spend more mana, as well as makes each heal not as potent. Therefore, the game will eventually end. And that sounds good. That sounds like a good idea. The problem is, that's the only way you can win now. Unless you just outclass your opponent and win. Like most games, watching this, I was watching, and I'm no aficionado, so please, if you know Arena and you understand this better than I do, please tell me why I'm wrong. The numbers, late in expansion start getting out of control. It always happens. Every expansion it happens. You'll watch the first section of an expansion, especially for PvE as well. Tanks will take, a very normal amount of damage in raids. PvE, PvP-wise, the values are at a controllable level that you can balance at, right? You can expect people to hit this level with the best gear, so therefore you can balance the game at that. And then before they hit that level, they're going to be weaker than expected, so therefore they're going to be balanced there. The idea is you're not going to be able to kill people instantly, whatever it is. But as you get later in the expansion, healing gets stronger, damage gets stronger, health gets stronger, everything gets stronger, to the point where it's hard to balance those things, because it's an RPG, you want your character to scale, you want them to do more damage, you want them to do more stuff. That's the whole point. You want to get the next piece of gear that makes your gear stronger, that makes you stronger to be able to kill people, to more faster, and more quicker, and more, and more, right? More damage. That's what you want. More health, more healing. So they have to implement this dampening mechanic in order to counteract that scaling. It was really fun to watch, though. Spectator UI that they have on the AWC is really good. It's been great. And then I could never play at this level. Watching them, I just realized that no, I could never do that. It's too much work. It's too much to keep track of in my brain. My brain doesn't work that way. I need to have a lot of caffeine if I'm going to be playing games like that. But just watching a mage stand out in the open, having a rogue train on him, but having a healer healing him, and then the other healer is trying to cyclone your healer, and it's just like, it's mind-boggling watching this. Like, holy crap. Like, for me, whenever I'm playing, I'm like, I can't go behind a wall. I can't LOS my healer. But I can't just stand out in the open. It's amazing to watch these guys. They all know their cooldowns. They know who else is on cooldown. They know when their ice block's ready. They know when their healers' cooldowns are ready. So they know when they can take opportunities to try to get an advantage and do damage. And because everybody else also understands the other team's cooldowns and abilities, it's a really big ebb and flow to these fights. So you watch one team usually gets a little bit damage, and then the other team comes back and they try to do, and then the other team comes back, and then they go back again and do another thing. It's like a tug of war. And eventually one team wins, and dampening kind of, eventually forces that to happen as well. The only problem, like I said, is the dampening mechanic and the idea that you have to wait like 5 minutes for someone to die. You're kind of just sitting there like, unless someone makes a mistake or someone does something insane that shouldn't be possible because someone made a mistake, really is the only time. People don't die. So I'm not on the edge of my seat at the beginning of the games. I'm not invested. I don't care what's happening, really, for the first 5 or so minutes. As soon as dampening starts taking effect, then I go, okay, what's going on? Let's watch. because now the healers are going to have to actually start working. They're going to have to start putting in some effort. So that was the AWC. That was good. It was fun to watch. I guess it's on every weekend. I'm just learning about this. It was good. The other thing that happened with me this week is Operation Mechagon. So last week I tried to pug it. I died on the first trash pack. I died on the first boss. We got to a different boss. I went into a different group that had bosses down, but they died on that boss. I cleared it, okay? This week I cleared Operation Mechagon, and it took me forever. I think it was like a whole stream, like a 5 hours thing. 3-4 hours I think it took me to clear that with this pug that I was grouped with. It was fun. The guys were great. We all kept in spirits. Everyone tried, and eventually we downed it. We spent a lot of time wiping. Wipe after wipe after wipe after wipe. I spent a lot of time repairing. The dungeon is awesome. I love that dungeon. I didn't realize how much larger that dungeon is than I expected. Because when you first step into the instance, all you see is the 5 or so bosses. And I didn't look up any guys. I didn't realize how large that dungeon is. That dungeon is huge. There's 8 bosses or something like that. And it's good. It's a good dungeon. I enjoyed the bosses. They have their own mechanics. I think my favorite boss in there is the slime boss. He's got these little robots that you have to keep freeing from slime. They have a zone around them that will clear slime away. You're safe while you're in there, so you won't get slimed, or gooped, it's called. The debuff is gooped, where you get stunned and you start taking damage while you're gooped. You can't do anything. Your teammates have to save you if you get gooped, but nobody should get gooped because you have these robots there to help you. The robots clear around them, so anytime that he sends out his spell ability to goop people, you can stand with the robot and you won't get gooped. The robots get gooped occasionally. You have to free them as well. It's really easy to switch to them. All your DPS switches to them, kills the goop, brings it back out. Now you're free to stand in any of the 3 robots that there are around the boss at any time. We wiped a couple times on that boss, but I think that was the most memorable one for me. I like that mechanic, this idea that you have to keep moving and then keep your DPS up. Probably really good for melee. It's probably a really good melee fight because you can actually do damage while moving. So Operation Mechagon, that's it. And then the last thing I was doing this week for World of Warcraft was grinding Champions of Azeroth rep. So I got revered with Nazjatar, with the Operation Mechagon people. And now I realize that I still need to be revered with Champions of Azeroth. They're the final people that I'm not revered with because I didn't do any world quests pre, maybe 3 or 4 weeks before this new content came out. So I'm halfway there. I'm 6,000 rep out of 12,000. And once I get that, I'll have flying and I'll finally be able to play the game, right? It feels like that. It feels like, man, if I just had flying, I could finally play this game and I wouldn't have to spend, each day I could now cut back my time playing because I would be able to finish all my daily quests immediately. And then I would just be able to spend my mana pearls and I'd be done and I'd go to the next area and I'd be flying and it'd be good. And the game would be much faster. But, at the same time, once it's done, okay, well, the whole half the point of the game is enjoying it and playing the game and enjoying the game itself, not just the end goals. And so flying, I have a love-hate relationship with flying. But I'm going to work for it because why would I not? I'd be silly not to. And then finally, my final thing I want to talk about this week is Project Winter. So last week I talked about Ultimate Werewolf, this board game, video game, where you kind of get this board game. It's not a video game, it's a board game, Ultimate Werewolf. And you kind of lie to each other the whole time. You get on teams, you get separated, you decide, people on village, people on werewolves, and nobody knows who each other is. So the werewolves are trying to kill the villagers are trying to kill the werewolves, and they're trying to get out. So everyone's lying, everyone's cheating, everyone's trying to, find a way to win for their side. But you have to be, you have to be able to good at bluffing, or also, you just have to do a good job of convincing your villagers what the truth is when the werewolves are lying constantly. So Project Winter. Marco contacted me on Sunday, I believe, and he told me, buy this game. It's literally Ultimate Werewolf, but in video game form. And I was like, okay. So it was $20 on Steam. I bought it, and we played it. It was great. It was a fantastic game. So the premise of this game is that you are in a winter cabin, you and 7 other people, so there's 8 players. And the winter cabin has no power. There's a distress beacon that needs to be activated and repaired, and then you have to use the radio to call your vehicle to come pick you up. So you're in a winter cabin with 7 other people, and you go to restore the power is the first thing you do. So you have to go find the power, the generator. You have to find out how you have to repair it because it takes different materials each time you play. So you have to go and then find those materials, craft them, and then bring them to the power place. But you can only carry like 3 of them at a time, and it takes 15 to repair. So if 5 people all do it at once, if 5 people bring 3 objects, whatever object is needed to repair, you can repair it immediately. Here's the kicker. All right. So you're doing all this work to repair the generator to get the power, the beacon operating, and then calling for evacuation, and then getting on the evacuation vehicle and getting out. All easy, simple steps relatively. But there's 2 people that are labeled as traitors, and only they know it. And they have caches, weapon caches and item caches littered across the landscape that only they can open. And they get guns, they get energy drinks that give them more base stats. And they can sabotage things, they can steal, So you start with the 7 other people, and you don't know who the bad guys are, and they're trying to stop you from escaping. Their whole objective is to kill everybody except, obviously they know who each other are. So it was good. It was a lot of fun. Project Winter, if you haven't checked it out, check that game out. If you ever want to play with me. We'll figure it out. Find me on Twitter. Message me at Jamin the Shaman. We'll figure it out. We'll figure out a way to play these games. Maybe we'll play them on stream with viewers. The thing about streaming this game is that you can look at my screen and see what I am. So if you ever play with me and I'm streaming, you have to turn my stream off. Honor system, okay? I believe in the honor system, and you guys, you're part of the Jamily. If you guys haven't, that's my little Jamily. You're here, you're listening. If you want to be a jam member, if you want to jam with me, maybe that's better. Let's never say Jamily again. We'll say jam with me. If you want to jam with me, come on to my stream and we'll talk about Project Winter. We'll figure it out. All right, here we go, guys. We're gonna move on to the interview. I'm so excited to share with you MissUnicornFarts. She came on. It was a lovely interview, lovely time with her. I hope you enjoy this. And so, here we go. All right, everyone, welcome to JaminCast. This is me, Jamin. I'm here. I'm joined with another beautiful interview, another glorious interview. I'm here with Karina, but her online name is MissUnicornFarts. So if you are looking for that, she's here. How you doing, Karina? What's going on?
Oh, I'm doing great.
Yeah.
It's a lovely day today.
Yeah, thanks for coming on. I appreciate it. It's so for anyone who doesn't know, we used to play Heroes of the Storm together on a competitive team. It was an amateur competitive team, and that was a lot of fun. We have a little bit of history actually playing together. But I just wanted to bring you on to just talk about video games, talk about streaming, talk about all the things we do, and how you kind of have had them in your life. The first question I have for you, and it's the one I start off with everyone, is what's the first game that you ever played that left an impression on you?
Oh man, that's hard.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I feel like I've always played on PlayStation. The first one. That's
Okay.
the one that got me into gaming. I recall playing a lot of Spyro.
Spyro.
That's what got me started. But I believe that really, really got me into loving playing games was PS2 era when I played Dot Hack. That really got me into gaming.
So what about Spyro was for you? What of that game? Was it just the platforming? Was it just you just happened to have that game and that was the one you liked?
It was more like the platforming, I guess. It was a lot of fun. It was it's something I grew up with.
Yeah.
My mother got it for me. She thought it was a cute little game. And I fell in love with it.
And then Dot Hack was the other game.
Yes, Dot
I've
Hack was the other game.
I've never heard of this
That
game.
one, it's like it's one of the original ones that was about how someone could get stuck in a game world, I guess.
Okay, what was that? The wasn't there Code Lyoko? Wasn't that a video, a show that kind of did that? Whatever. Anyway, so
Yeah.
tell me about Dot Hack. What this is the first game? This is the game that you were like, oh wait, like more than just Spyro. This is the first game that you really liked.
Yes, yes. And the funny thing is that when I came up to that game, I was at Sears. We were walking around. I was bored. There was a gaming section in that place. And I saw the game, and I'm like, oh, it looks so cool. And mind you, I got the part two, not the part one, at first.
Okay,
Um, my mom got it for me, thank God. Um, played it. It was basically a Japanese RPG. Um, it was very, very different. Like, I don't know what it was, but the music in the game, how the story was, it was just so amazing. Like, that got me into all the Dot Hack franchise.
Dot Hack. I'm surprised I've never heard of this franchise at all. Is it? Is it? Would you say it's similar to Final Fantasy when you say a
Yes,
JRPG? Okay,
yes, it's very similar to it. The overall for myself, like, I grew up with that. I prefer that. It's a very small fan base, though.
gotcha. Yeah, it's I mean, I've had talked to a couple people, and a couple people have said Final Fantasy is the first game. I personally said Final Fantasy IV was my first game that left an impression on me. That was like, wow, this is video games. This is impressive. Because of just the story and the connection to the characters that you feel as you play it. And I'm assuming that Dot Hack would be similar.
Yes, yes, very similar, but the difference in when it came to this game for myself, because it's the first time I was experiencing it,
Mm-hmm.
was on one game file, whatever you do and the items you get and how you build up a relationship with your other characters, they also translate to the next game.
Okay, so
So
it was like a new game plus mode.
no, it was more like it will carry on to the other game. So like let's say you ended up the first game
Oh, like in the next in the
unlocking.
sequel. You mean you would?
Yes, yes, yes,
Oh
because there
wow.
was a part 1, part 2, part 3, part 4, and then on it continued on to PS3, and then there was a GU series which was another dot hack series, but part 2, like world 2, because sorry, I won't curse, but how
That's all
messed
good.
up the first world became. So it was a continuation of that. And if you play the original games, then you will understand all the secrets and things like that on the second, like the part two world.
Okay,
So
gotcha.
I fell in love with all of that. That's why the music behind it, it was just, I would actually fall asleep to some of the music, and my mom would just make fun of me.
Wow. Do you have the soundtrack like on Spotify or is it online on YouTube or anything? If you found it,
Yes, yes, I actually have my playlist of all the songs.
it's on your. You have your playlist. That's awesome. Yeah, I
I
have.
have my playlist.
Anytime Final Fantasy IV songs come on, I'm like, oh, Final Fantasy IV, Final Fantasy IV, and I like slap the person next to me, and they're like, I don't care at all, and I'm like, okay, great, God, okay. After that, what's your so what are you playing right now? You playing Heroes a lot? Is there any other game that's you're playing a lot of?
I've been trying to get back to Heroes again because I
Okay.
feel like after our team disbanded, I took a break.
Yeah, same. Yeah.
Yeah, it was tough, but I'm trying to get back into it. I wanted to play better. I want to get better again. Other games I've been playing is Arcade. Private server, I used to play that before, and so it was pay to win and then I stopped. But with the new private server, it feels a little bit more, it feels better. It feels better.
You said Arcade?
Arcade, yeah.
What is
It's an MMO.
Okay. So and it's a private server version of it, so it's not made by the server's not hosted by the people who made it originally.
Yes,
Okay.
exactly.
And you say Ark, and I immediately think of Ark, the dinosaurs. Anything like that?
No, no, no. It's a fantasy world. There are dwarfs, of course,
Oh,
elves, um,
oh wow.
cats, or how my friends like to say furries.
Oh, I think I've seen people talking about this on Twitter, but I didn't know what game they were talking about. They keep posting screenshots and stuff of these like cat people and like it's kind of anime a little and
Yeah, yeah,
very
it's your typical Korean MMO, but
gotcha.
there was something about this game. It was just fun to play.
Arcade. That's what you're playing. What are you? What level are you then? And what are you playing? What
Um,
class or
so
I don't know.
right,
I don't know if they call them classes or whatever.
they do call them classes, but it's a little bit different. You could recustomize your skills so you could change how you want it to be. Right now I'm level 45. I'm playing a dwarf, a little lolly dwarf. I actually named her after one of the characters from Dot Hack GU.
What's their name?
Pokotan.
Pokatan. Okay.
Yeah, it's from a character that was a famous PKer, means player killer.
Yeah.
Her name was Magical Pokotan, and she was a very small lolly girl that would go crazy to kill you. Then I
Gotcha.
named her after that.
It sounds fun. Actually, the idea that to play like I'm almost like on the edge of my seat to like, oh, maybe I should go play this game. But then I realized that classic WoW is going to be out in a month, and if I start putting time into another MMO, I'm gonna have to like abandon it at some point. And MMOs feel like those games you only play that game, or you only put your time into one because you're you're you don't get benefits from doing multiple ones. It just means you have to double all your workload.
Not only that, but you have to focus on one if you want to get good. You have to grind your gear, and if you're doing two games, then it's like you're gonna be mediocre. One of
Yeah,
them. You gotta be the best, man. You gotta be the best.
always the best. Yeah. I've been playing Heroes again, and I only want to play Ana. Like I literally anything and then a game I don't get Ana in, I'm like, ugh, I don't really want to even want to play this right now. Like,
Right?
like the only character I want to play is Ana. Is she overpowered? I don't know, but she's always fun to play, and yeah, it's one of those games I play like once every 2 weeks, and I play and I have fun, and then I'm like, okay, well that was good, that was fun.
Oh yeah, indeed. Last night I was actually in a how to explain it? I was in a row. I was losing so much, but towards the end of the night, with my trouble sleeping, I started kicking butt.
Oh
I
yeah,
was getting really into it. Yeah.
are you playing Storm League quick match? What are you playing?
Oh, okay. We were doing a quick match, but I kept playing assassin role,
Yeah,
and I was just, I don't know, balls deep to the wall,
yeah,
just running. And I'm like, if I die, I die.
right. And you're like, listen, let me see how far I can stress this character. And then actually,
And it
honestly,
worked out.
playing that way is like one of the best ways to play a game because you not only yes you're gonna die at some point and it's not gonna be the best. It's not, but you learn your limits of your character and you learn like, oh, I actually can kill someone in this moment. Like I didn't think I was able to kill that person.
Yeah.
And then you start identifying opportunities, and then you can sort of dial back a little bit and play at the not the mediocre level. What's the correct word? The medium level. The correct way to play, whatever it is. There's a happy middle ground between being balls out and like just staying in your base, basically.
Gotta play it smart.
Mm-hmm. So, what's your favorite game to stream right now? Is it the Arc? What did you? It was Arc something.
Arcade.
Arc Age. Okay. What's your favorite game right now to stream?
I still think Heroes of Storm might be my favorite game to stream,
Gotcha.
but I've been playing a lot of Crash Bandicoot on the side when I have my stream when the queues are long. So that's actually a lot of fun. I get really into it.
I actually have never played Crash Bandicoot. I didn't have a PlayStation growing up, so I didn't have any of those games. Was he on N64? No,
No.
that was someone else. I'm thinking of. Was it Banjo Kazooie? Was that on N64?
Yeah, yeah. That one was there.
I
That
didn't have
was
that one either. So
I think it was Rareware.
yeah, Rare
I,
had Banjo Kazooie.
yeah, and then they also made the Donkey Kong as well.
Oh wow, that's true. Yeah, you're right. I've totally forgot about that.
Yeah.
Now they're making the Sea of Thieves, which is
Oh.
Okay, it's okay. It's a good
Oh.
game. It's just it's another one of those games where if as soon as you do the content, you're like, all right, thanks. I'll wait till you release another patch. What are there any games you saw coming out that you're excited about? Are you gonna play Classic WoW at all? Because I'm a Classic WoW lover.
I've actually never played WoW.
Really? But
Yeah.
you like your the Arcade.
Actually, the first sort of MMO that I played was Mabinogi.
Nogi. Man, I have not heard of any of these games. I really need to. I
I'm
thought I
sorry.
was really good at gaming, and apparently there's a whole set of games that I missed, and I need to up my coverage.
No, it's okay. I would play very unorthodox games.
Yeah.
That's me. But no, I played Mabinogi. It was a Nexon game. Just so you know, like
Okay.
the ones that made Maple Story.
Okay. I played Maple Story when I was
Yeah,
younger.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. The same creators.
Okay. I didn't like Maple Story 2 or what I saw of it. I used to play Maple
Yeah.
Story 1 like all the time. So I remember I don't remember why or what I did in that game. I never paid money, so I didn't really get anywhere in it because it looked like you had to pay money to do that. But I remember doing like jumping puzzles, and there was like this area you could go to, and we would just put gold on the top, the hardest part to get to, and we say, okay, whoever gets up there first gets the gold, and then everyone it would literally just like spawn out of nothing. There would just be like 20 people all trying to jump up there to get to the gold. Uh, and for some reason, that really sticks out to me as one of the things I loved about Maple Story was the platforming and like the fact that there wasn't like a uh, a spell cast like World of Warcraft. You click on someone, then you click a spell, and your character automatically targets that person, casts the spell, and the spell like heat-seeking missile follows them. While Maple Story, you like run around and you can just swing your sword or cast your spell in a direction, and someone has to run into it. Like they because it's 2D.
Hmm.
I don't know. There was something really. It's kind of like Kingdom Hearts, and this like it's an action like the game continues. You're as you're playing it, the game is happening. Like there's no turn. It's not turn based, and it's also not like heat seeking missile. I don't even know what you call that. It's a real time skill shot thing, and not that they were difficult to hit or
Was it
anything.
like mostly channeling, or is just like just instant?
For World of Warcraft or for Maple Story?
I don't know. World of Warcraft.
Yeah, World of Warcraft is mostly like you cast a spell, you have to stand still while you cast it if you're a caster. While like
So
melee, just click on someone, and while you have them targeted, you automatically hit them, and then your spells are all instant cast, but you have to be in melee range. So there's not really like a skill of like keeping them like aiming your spells. You don't aim, you just click on something and you automatically target it. And as long as you're within range, you can hit it. It does make it harder to like hit multiple enemies or like fight multiple enemies. If you want to hit a single target, that's easy in WoW. In Maple Story, it was not. You had to hit anything that was standing near your target got hit by whatever you were casting.
yeah, I used to play Maple Story. I think that's what got me into playing computer games.
Okay. Yeah, I
And then
think
from there on, I found Mabinogi. And then I played a lot of that.
yeah. How long did you play that game?
Oh, years and years actually. I don't remember when I stopped playing. But I will tell you an interesting fact about that though. In Mabinogi, that's where I met my significant other.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, and we've been together for 10 years now.
Wow. That's amazing. That's congrats.
That's where I met him.
Wow.
It's a funny story too.
Yeah, if you want to tell it, you can. I don't know if you want to have it locked into the internet, but yeah.
I don't know about that, but basically I won't tell the whole story how it
Okay.
was, but um I was the guild master. I would troll my guild mates, and he joined my guild. He was new, and I taught him the ropes, and that's where it blossomed, I guess.
That's awesome. That's so cool. It's really funny to meet people. It's not funny. It's just it's a whole new. I think it's more popular than people realize that meeting a significant other and it's the thing you love, right? Like that's where you go. You're playing games, and you meet someone that also likes games, and you're like, oh well, we have a lot more in common than just this. Uh, it's especially like going out to a bar and something. I mean, the amount of times I've gone to bars and I've realized like, no, this is not like these people have no idea what I'm talking about when I talk about podcasts or video games or streaming. Uh, it's just yeah, it's incredible. Video games are a way to bring people together, and I've met some of my greatest friends on video games, especially in World of Warcraft. And these people that you can just come back to and talk to years later, and you're like, still, you have all these memories together. Something about working together and defeating something, and just socially being near each other every day or every week is incredible.
Yeah, you build a bond, and sometimes it's a small world. You don't realize that the people you're playing with could live really close to you.
Yeah, that happened to
That
me.
happened to me once.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I was playing with these people, and they said, "Hey, we're moving to this area," and I was like, "That's literally like not even an hour away from me," and they were like, "Oh." And then we met up, and it was fun. It was a great time. We played a bunch of board games. I have to get in contact with them again. I haven't talked to them in a while. You reminded me of those people, my
You should
old
catch up.
guildmates.
To catch up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So are there any games you're looking forward to right now? Is there like a video game you saw on the horizon that you were like,
Oh,
oh,
I think everyone is excited for this. Of course, Cyberpunk.
Cyberpunk? Yeah, ever that's a
Yeah.
super hype game.
That is, I'm online. I believe that game has been in the making for years now. It's
Mm-hmm.
been a while.
Yeah. How did you play Witcher 3 at all?
No, but funny enough, on Steam, I have the games. I just haven't played them because
Yeah.
I have so many games available. I feel like if I sit down and I start playing the games, and based on how that game is, I'm gonna be there for hours and hours and hours, probably days.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, that's exactly what I was thinking. I played Witcher 3 for about like 2 or 3 hours, and then I just haven't been back because I'm like, it's the same thing as playing a game other than WoW or another MMO or another RPG. You have to
Hmm.
put time in,
You
and
do, you do.
it takes a lot to keep doing. And everyone keeps telling me how great that game is, and I'm like, oh, I want to play it. And then everyone tells me how great what is this Cyberpunk's gonna be, and I don't understand how everybody's so like ready to say this game is gonna be amazing. It's just really I don't understand where the hype's coming from. I guess I'm excited for it because it looks awesome. It does, but everyone's like, this is gonna be incredible, game of the year for sure. We've only seen like very, very little of this game. Very high fidelity what we've seen, but the game has to hold up. Like Anthem came out, it was beautiful looking. It was just a terrible game.
But I think the reason why everyone's excited for Cyberpunk is because of how you could customize your character the way you want to. People love that. People love that. I love that.
Yeah, I do
I freaking
too.
love that. And the best part is that depending on what you do in the storyline would actually result differently, I guess. Like your choices matter. And that aspect behind a game is just that appeals to me.
Yeah, what
I
was the Becoming Human game that came out a while ago that actually had like huge branching past storylines?
Yes, yes, it's yeah, something like similar to that, but a little bit different. But yeah, the one that created that, they make a lot of games like that one. I think Heavy Rain was like that. What was the other game? There was a third one. I think it involved two people. But depending on your choices, or whatever, there were different characters. Um, it would give you different alternative endings, and I personally love those type of games. Those games are a lot of fun.
I love the ability to realizing that it actually matters. I hate when I'm playing a game and it gives you a choice and then you find out that your choice doesn't matter, whatever you picked. Like, cause I'll sit there and I'll think about it and I'll be like, well, what if I, and then you make the choice and then something, and then if you go look up like, oh, what would happen if I had chosen the other thing? And it doesn't matter. I'm like, oh, well, why am I even stressing over this?
Yeah, exactly.
I
I
love,
I don't like that. It's like they give you two options. You say a certain thing to a character or whatever, but in the end it's just the same, same ending.
Yeah.
And it just makes it boring. It doesn't make you that more attached to the character. You can't personalize the character
Hmm.
towards what your personality is, you know?
I think KOTOR did that really well. Was it KOTOR that I felt like that was one of the first games where like my choices with characters at least mattered. Maybe not the overarching story didn't matter, but your relationship with each character mattered. So like you could, romance a certain character or, become enemies with a certain character or they could join your team depending on how you interact with them and if they like you. Like if I choose the evil option with this person, they'll like me more, but the person over there will dislike me more. And you're like, it actually mattered. Your choices weighted how you could now build your team out because you had to choose how do I want to play this character? Do I want to be evil? Do I want to be good? Do I want to be who I am, or do I want to try to mess with the game? And those games are always amazing.
You mean Knights of the Old Republic? Is that the one you're talking about?
Yeah, the original, not the MMO, but the KOTOR 1 and KOTOR 2.
Oh yeah, yeah, I never played those, but I did play SWTOR. Like I made my characters, the family line, everything,
Oh
all the
wow.
characters had a story together. I guess in a way that's how I usually make my characters.
Okay.
Um, I made the people from the Republic evil, and the people from the Empire good.
Of course. Yeah.
Yes, it was it was fun. I loved making my good character like just slaughter people. It's just like, haha, I'm evil.
Yeah, and you're corrupt. You're within the system. You're the reason the system has to be brought down because you're evil. And the empire's right, right? It wasn't that the way it was. The Republic and the Empire were like, or the Sith and the Jedi, wasn't it? And it was just rampant throughout their system. They both had their whole like armies and stuff, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Wow. Yeah, KOTOR was a great game. If you ever get a chance to go play the KOTOR original games, go back and play those because they were just fantastic. I think KOTOR 2 is not as good as KOTOR 1 because it's a little more predictable and like the twist at the end is not so like you're like, oh yeah, that okay, like mm, got it. Like it's kind of predictable, but it was good. It was still I played KOTOR 2 actually first because I was like, I don't want to play the old graphics. I want to play the newer graphics. And I bet if I went back and looked at both of them right now, they would probably look about the same based on today's graphics. Are you excited for the new Star Wars movie?
Mm,
Do
I
you do you
actually
watch movies? Do you care about movies?
I do. Um, but I've been pushing it on the side
Mm-hmm.
because of money reasons.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's expensive.
It
Thir-
is expensive.
it's like $13 for a ticket at least, and then it's like if you get in there, you have to. Then if you want to eat anything, it's like $6-7 just for one thing. You're like, all right,
Oh yeah, yeah. I mean, I've watched all the Star Wars movies.
gotcha.
I know there's a new one coming out.
Rise of
I haven't
Skywalker.
seen. Yeah, I know this is weird and everything, but I don't like to watch the trailers because honestly, trailers lately have do reveal a lot of the story,
Yeah,
and I don't like that.
you're like I'm gonna
So
see
as
this
soon as I
movie
hear,
anyway.
I mean, yeah, I mean, but there's certain franchises where you just like you don't want to look at the trailer. You just want to be like, all right, surprise me as
Yeah,
much as you can.
yeah, you're absolutely right. I've done that. I think I did that with Avengers Endgame,
Yeah, yeah.
uh, and then I'm like, listen, I'm gonna see this movie.
Video games are the best. Yeah, I mean, I guess I could touch the topic of how did I get into MOBAs like Heroes of the Storm.
Yeah,
Dota 2 was what got me into it.
Dota 2. Okay.
Dota 2?
Did you play Dota 1 at all?
No, I did not.
Okay. And you just got into Dota 2, and then why'd you switch to Heroes?
Actually, funny enough, my boyfriend's the one that got me into playing MOBAs. He wanted a support to help him in Dota 2. So I was playing with him. We will always dual lane and we would kick butt. And then after that, he said, "Oh, hey, there's a new game coming out," and that's where User Storm was.
Yeah.
We ended up going there together because the queue times were shorter. Playing a game was super quick. If you ever, Anthony, have you ever played Dota 2?
I have. Yeah. Well, I've played Dota 1, and I've played a little bit of Dota 2, but Yeah.
So you understand how long those games could get.
Yeah, the games, especially like League of Legends too, they do this, and that the games can go. They could be 20 minutes, but sometimes they'll go an hour, hour and a half if you're
Oh
really
yeah,
unlucky.
yeah, yeah,
Uh,
exactly. And that is the reason why we went to Heroes of the Storm,
gotcha.
cause yeah,
Yeah, the games are a lot
you could
quicker.
basically play more, um, and just build up, unlock the characters, and there was a little aspect behind that was a little bit fun. I always played support, which was funny. He got me into it.
Yeah,
He 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 would always want to be the carry, the person that would kill stuff, and I'd be like, I help you.
yeah, and that's always fun. I do that with my cousin. He's always. I'm like, you're better at this than me. You take this. I'll heal you. I'll keep you alive. You keep me alive, and I'll make sure you stay alive as well. Uh, by healing us all up. I always love playing support. It's one of those things where I'm like, there's too much pressure trying to kill people. Let me just keep everyone alive. Let me just keep everyone alive. If and hopefully the enemy team just goes somewhere else, and I don't even have to do anything, and we'll just destroy their core. But yeah, it's supports are usually what I play. Are you thinking you're going to branch out? Are you thinking about because you obviously you played Assassins last night? You were saying.
Yeah, I am actually branching out. I'm playing a little bit more tanks, assassins, um, assassin hash like slash specialists. I can't believe they're called assassins now.
Yeah.
Uh,
Have you if you look at the top people in Heroes of the Storm, they mostly play warriors, which I thought was interesting. There's some people who are really good; they'll play assassin. There's some people that are really good that'll play bruiser. But almost all of and support is like the number one support is like I don't know 25th or 30th down the line, and he's not. They're not up there. People play support. There's not very many in the top 200 or top 100 now for Heroes of the Storm.
mhm.
It's just
Yeah.
hard to carry a
I've
game.
yeah, I've actually been seeing a lot of people pick bruisers tank. Usually I see three of them.
You think three bruiser is the meta now in Heroes?
I think so. I've been seeing that a lot.
Oh wow.
Yo, they body you. They body you.
Yeah, I'm sure it's obnoxious having to have anyone like an Artanis, a Sonya, and what like an Arthas or something, and you're just like, okay, what do we do here?
Yeah, honestly, sometimes it feels like the tankier you are, the longer you could prolong the fight, and then you could just body the people that are squishing. Just zone them out.
Yeah, I
It's
don't
all
think
about objectives.
yeah Greymane and Vala can't go in. Like I think they just buffed them too, but they just can't. They need so much support, and it tilts your team so much into this hyper carry mode that it's really easy. I think at the top level of play, if there was still a professional scene around, like and there's a small amateur professional scene, but you would see those types of games where the games would be skewed towards that. But when you have five people that are just random that are all doing their own thing and kind of working together and don't really know each other, I'm assuming that yeah, it's just easier just to use bruisers and kill everybody.
Yeah, and honestly, I think the reason why people are picking those heroes is because one, they have a lot of stuns. Two, they could get right into the back line. No
Mm-hmm.
issues behind that. They could survive a little bit better, and they just make the plays. If they could catch one squishy out in the lane or anything, that secures them for the next objective or to be able to take their camps and things like that. And honestly, I feel like tanks are really strong at the beginning of the game. I think that's the appeal to it. While the more assassin role, you start seeing them kick up more towards the end or the middle of the
Mm-hmm.
game.
Once they get their talents that boost their
Once they get
damage.
their talents to boost up their damage, then they start kicking some ass.
Yeah. ETC
While
does so much
bruisers,
damage at
like,
level 1 by the
oh yeah,
I didn't realize how much damage he does. Like it's obnoxious cuz and then you hit him with a spell and he just like walks away in full health. You're like, "Oh, well, okay."
yeah, he's really good at securing kills.
Yes, a slide and a boop.
That and Diablo, oh god, a good
Mhm.
Diablo is terrifying.
Yeah, I found Diablo to be one of those characters that's actually pretty easy to counter, but nobody wants to play Tychus.
Actually, you know what it feels like when you have a how do I explain? When you play Diablo, it feels like your range is limited. Going against a Diablo, you're like, hold up, how can you go across the map?
Yeah, that's true too. Yeah, you're
I don't
like,
know
how
why it
far?
feels like that,
Mm.
but it does.
Yeah, I would, and when you watch people play, you'll notice that people don't care about walls. They just don't seem to think about a wall at all. And then, but that's all Diablo players are thinking about. That's literally all I think about when I play Diablo is how do I get that guy to bang him into a wall? I don't care about, there is a little bit of game where you can like flip, dash on a minion and then flip someone over you and body block them. But most of the time, I'm just looking for walls. And people don't seem to care about walls, especially the lower you go in the skill levels. And yeah,
Oh yeah.
Diablo
Oh yeah.
absolutely dominates anybody who's not paying attention.
Oh yeah. I seen like, I guess an example I could say. I've seen a few tracers. They will try to, get into the back line, but they have to go through the enemy team. And then there's a Diablo, boom, smack in the wall. That
Yeah, now
it's so
anyone with a
sad to
point and
see.
click stun is just really good against Tracer, and Diablo's
Yeah.
got that. All right, I think we're done. I think we covered everything, and it's a
Yeah.
nice fun interview. And thanks for coming on. I appreciate it.
Oh yeah, of course. Thank you for having me.
Anyone who's listening, please go to twitch.tv/MissUnicornFarts and follow her, and then go to Twitter at mm_unicornfarts and follow her there too.
Hey, hey, hey.
All right, everyone, that was it. That's Jamencast episode 7 in the bag. Miss Unicorn Farts, thank you so much for being on. Thank you, Karina. You're a wonderful, wonderful lady. It was some good What's News. We got some good What's Jamming. Looking forward to next week. Looking forward to seeing all you beautiful people and seeing and hearing, I guess. Well, I'm not doing any of that. I'm not seeing or hearing any of you. I guess, well, I'll visualize you with my brain, and I'll just assume you're smiling. Thanks. Thanks for doing that. I appreciate it. It makes me smile. But some things to talk about, just to do some, if you want to follow me, if you want to know how to get into the good stuff, it's Twitter, at Jamin the Shaman. On Twitch, it's twitch.tv/Jaman, Jaman. And then, what else? What else we got? We got YouTube. We got Jamin the Shaman on YouTube. And those are the big ones. Those are the big stuff that I want you to follow me on. If you do that, you'll be into the know-how. You'll find out how to, you'll see me when I'm live. I do the interviews usually live on Twitch. Usually Tuesdays. I'm trying to see how I'm going to work it out. Maybe if it works with somebody else's schedule, I'll switch it to another day. But usually Tuesdays we'll do an interview. But then we're online. We're casting. We're playing, streaming on Twitch all the time. You guys check it out. Almost every day I'm up on Twitch, at least for an hour or two, depending on my schedule. But yeah, so thank you so much for listening. I'll see you next week, guys. Have a great night, have a great life, and have a great morning.